Santos, who didn't look up, and Zubi Karai gets a comfortable first touch.
Well, when you look at statistics and in respect of Villarreal, it's actually a good place for Villarreal to come, because they've actually won more times here at the Anoeta than what Real Sociedad have. So you do have lucky grounds when you do play away from home, and this certainly is one for Villarreal. Not only Anoeta, but the stadium before. There was to see Marcelino. Again, you talk about a young coach in Arrasate. There's Marcelino, 40 years of age. Sixth club now he's been in charge of as a coach, but very, very well respected.
Decent pedigree in the Copa as well. Got Racing to the semi-finals 2007-2008, where they lost to Michael Laudrup's at Tafe. Valencia went on to lift the trophy. Zubi Karai. It's a bit clumsy from Pina. He's got away with it. Given away by Bojan Jokic. He's back with Juan Carlos. Third appearance of the season for the 26-year-old. Able to get hold of it. It's the second time. And Estondo. It's a 21-year-old Zaldua. First time these teams have met in the cup competition. Villarreal never won. Villarreal last won in 1987.
It was a good year all round, 1987, wasn't it, Dominic?
I'm not sure the cup competitions are that good.
Well, I don't know. I think we beat Spurs that year, didn't we? For Coventry. So always nice to know that Villarreal have shared something that I've experienced back in 1987.
It's a teasing ball over the top. Agadeche gives a thumbs up. First time we've seen that long ball.
Well, that's right, and as far as I'm concerned, that Jokic is keeping Agadeche on side. But invariably you don't see that from Real Sociedad. They like to get the ball down and hit teams on the counter-attack. But also interesting as well, Dominic, you talk about the Copa del Rey, and teams generally, when we talk about the FA Cup back home in England, that they go and put out second strings. These two sides are vastly experienced, and there's only two players, and we know Markel Bergara is generally a starter, but there's only two players who've not started in the Copa del Rey this evening. That's Markel Bergara and Jaume Costa for Villarreal. But two sides at decent strength.
Good hustling from Jaume Costa. Bruno Soriano. Jokic on the overlap. That's a thready ball for Jonathan Pereira. He's shielded to safety. Mikel Gonzalez.
Well, it's good to see that Mikel Gonzalez is back as well. You know that he sustained a neck injury at pre-season, and then just recently he's been out with a hamstring strain. Normally he's always formed a very good partnership with Inigo Martinez, his junior, in the heart of that defence for Real Sociedad. Has been out for the last 2 or 3 games, and Anzoátegui has played in La Liga, but obviously invaluable to the side and just needs the minutes behind him.
There's an option to get the full 90 minutes today, with his intention. Real sitting back and being organised, but Agadeche surging his way through, and Gabriel Paulista concedes another throw-in.
Well, the one thing that is noticeable with Villarreal, Dominic, is that they do hold a high lineup. They're obviously quite assured with the pace of Musacchio and Gabriel.
Joey Castro, gone by Agadeche, actually partially cleared by Gabriel Paulista. Griezmann. A rare lack of control for a man who's been sparkling this season. Really is in breathtaking form.
you take into account that he's 2-2 for the Copa del Rey. He's scored 12 La Liga goals in the last 12 appearances. And there's a huge, big French club very interested in him at the moment, Paris Saint-Germain. He's keeping very quiet about his services, saying that he wants to play for Real Sociedad to the end of the season, and then we'll just have to sit and wait.
Aquino is caught offside. He is actually the top scoring, he is the top scoring Frenchman in any of the major European leagues so far this season. Just see Aquino had slightly mistimed his run.
He's come on leaps and bounds over the last 2-3 years. We know that he had an exceptional season last year as well. And certainly for a wide player, when you're scoring 15 goals as he has done so far, it's been a great return. And the goal that he scored against Athletic at the weekend was a great goal. Great technique. Just hope that he stays here in La Liga, because he's a huge asset.
Alvarado. Now is to Castro. First corner kick of the game. Uruguayan causing problems. Sets for by Carlos Sanchez. Floated deep. Looking for Elizondo. Have dealt with that with Bruno Soriano.
Well, I looked at the setup there, Dominic, and Aquino was the player on the far post, just off the far post, and I just wondered whether or not Real Sociedad would try and exploit that situation, and yes, they tried to, because he's only about 5'6", 5'7" maximum, and when he's up against Antoine Griezmann, there's only going to be one winner there.
A counter-attack on here for the Yellow Submarine. Giovanni Dos Santos. Look for movement. Finds the Mexican Aquino. He's on the throw. Decision that really didn't please Elizondo. Inigo Martinez takes it. Giovanni Dos Santos and Villarreal's first corner kick. One by the Tottenham man. Came off Inigo Martinez. $6 million this belt in the summer. Dos Santos will take the corner. Swung in. Gareche with a lazy ball out. It's a gift of a pass to Bojan Jokic. Aquino with an interesting and intriguing ball back through to his keeper. Bruno Soriano looking to build and orchestrate and wrestle a bit of control and authority of the possession. There's a cheap ball from Dos Santos, and Villarreal have a chance to spring forward here. Seferovic. There's Griezmann. Drives it cross field. Castro has a control on it. Uruguayan looks up. The ball may have gone over the line. It's a poor from Churi Castro. Aquino, the interception.
Well, he was just mentioning about Bruno Soriano just moments ago, Dominic. He's had an excellent first half of the season. Once again, there was a speculation that when they did get relegated, was he going to stay with the side? And we know that with the Spanish national side, there are a lot of good players, but there has been the talk once again about him joining up with the group. And no reason why not, but it certainly is going to be very, very hard to break into that squad. But he has done really well for the first half of the season.
His entire career has been with the Yellow Submarine. That's a clumsy challenge on Giovanni Dos Santos. Inigo Martinez seemed a little nervous and unsettled.
Well, I think it was just the pace of Giovanni Dos Santos which really got Inigo Martinez in a slightly unrestful situation. But he doesn't have to go and try and bring him down in those areas, because for me this is a sort of situation where I'd expect Dos Santos to go and aim at the far post and try and score at the far post with maybe a little deflection if he's not able to do that. But this will be hit hard.
Giovanni Dos Santos steps up and he takes a deflection off Seferovic and behind for a corner. Villarreal just telling Elizondo and Agareche where he wants them positioned.
Well, if you look at the zonal marking there for Real Sociedad, Antoine Griezmann is way outside of the near post area. Certainly very compact. Looking for Villarreal, anything inside that 6-yard box to come and collect.
There's a line of 4 just by the penalty spot for Villarreal. It's Dos Santos with the outswinger. And Villarreal is unchallenged as he grabs hold of that ball. Jose Angel. Using the width. Seferovic. Just a rolling square to Agareche. And Sakio with the interception. Teams locking horns 3 times in days. It's always going to be an interesting first half of the game to see how the sides approached it. Aquino went for it. He looks to see if he can get anything from the assistant referee.
Well, I'm not sure that he had to go in there with his head. I thought he could have tried to chest that ball down, because Jose Angel was totally unaware that on the outside Aquino had made a little diagonal run inside of him. Something that he's done during the first half of the season. Very fleet-footed down this right-hand side. One thing that you have to say is that he doesn't get himself amongst the goals as much as he'd like. He's only scored the twice so far in the season. Still only a young man, 23 years of age, Mexican international. But he gives him something else down this right flank, and it allows Jonathan Pereira to go and join up with Dos Santos up front.
There's a clever little back heel from Griezmann, switch flanks. Agareche loses out to Jean Costa. Troy Castro's switch flanks with Griezmann for the time being. Something La Real do throughout games. Just keep full backs on their toes. Sociedad hoping to get into the quarter-finals of the Copa, first time since 1993. And home form, you look back over the last few years in the competition, and beaten in 4, and they've won 3 of those games. And only conceded 3 times in those 4 matches. Anoeta in League and Cup. Castro will smuggle it through. Bagara losing out. A strong little challenge on Pina. Villarreal player back inside their own half. Using Sociedad to pose the questions. Slightly longer pass, a bit too long for Jordi Castro.
It's a little bit fractious as far as I'm concerned in respect of Real Sociedad. They're not building up players as what they would normally do. You just wonder, because Xavi Prieto is not in the side, that a lot of the good work goes through him in the midfield. Ruben Pardo is also somebody that hasn't started. Elizondo is coming for him. There was the speculation that Javi Ross was going to go and play, but he's looking to try and get some game time elsewhere. So speculation is that he's looking to go on loan somewhere, and I think that's where they just lack that person in the midfield area. I know Agareche is trying to get himself in there, but Xavi Prieto is the one who gets all the strings moving.
Agareche unable to keep control. Too frustrated. Well, Sociedad coach Pantic just to pinch a couple of yards. It didn't come to much. Chance to do better this time. 21-year-old Serbian under-21 international. Nervy moment, this time from Marc Albergara. Making yardage on this near side, Villarreal. For Santos. Just going through a little scrappy period. This is fifth appearance of the season for Pantic. Pina. That's Bruno Soriano, the space. Jonathan Pereira is available. Go wide. Pereira now has it. And again, just standing strong was Mikel Gonzalez. Pereira unable to find a teammate.
It just appears to me at this moment in time that both sides are just cancelling each other out. And it's always difficult when you're playing 3 times in the space of a week against the same side. And in cup competitions, especially when it's a 2-legged affair, they always turn around and say you don't want to lose the first leg, and especially for Real Sociedad being at home. In respect to Villarreal, they'll just be trying to nick a goal or such. But you can see time and time again that players in the back four, instead of getting the ball down and passing and moving and getting that extra width, they're more than comfortable just to get it away.
Jordi Castro with the cross and partially cleared. Here's Griezmann, roll square. Agareche can't get to it. And a follow-up shot is wide and a let-off for Villarreal and for Juan Carlos.
Well, there's a decent ball from Jordi Castro in the end towards the far post, but I would have been expecting Antoine Griezmann with his left foot to put his foot right through that ball, but he was a little bit unselfish, tried to play in Seferovic, who was right on the penalty spot. Wrong decision from Antoine Griezmann, and a good opportunity spurned from Real Sociedad.
Quarter of the way through this game. It's starting to bubble into life.
Well, I don't know about yourself as well, Dominic, but I wasn't too enamoured about Juan Carlos. When that ball come across, he just seemed to flap at it, didn't he? Instead of trying to collect the ball, he just seemed to push it into the path of Antoine Griezmann.
Is the contemporary goalkeeping textbook to clear the ball rather than catch. In days of old, you might have caught it. Jaume Costa. This is better from Villarreal. All the way by Mikel Gonzalez. Jaume Costa drags it back, cleared away by Elizondo as far as Griezmann. The space here for Villarreal to break. Jordi Castro. Supporting him is Jose Angel. Jose Angel with a teasing cross away by Gabriel Paulista. Roll square. Jordi Castro with a scoop ball trying to release Griezmann. complicated. The home fans are invigorated. They're being forced back though. Can they maintain this momentum? Inigo Martinez.
Well, that was by far the best move of the game, wasn't it? Nice little reverse ball from Chori Castro into the willing run of Jose Angel down this left-hand side. Again, it's a decent ball. Eventually finds Antoine Griezmann, but once again tries to be a little bit unselfish, tries to lay in another player. But that's by far better.
Turned forward by Jose Angel. Seferovic. Tussle with Alexander Pantic. Results in a throw-in. Beg your pardon, for a free kick, which Jose Angel will take. He's really imposed himself yet. Seferovic, he hasn't had the service, to be fair to him. He hasn't gone back and demanded the ball and demanded the play come through him.
Well, he's still only a young man learning his trade, isn't he? I know that it came from Fiorentina for €3 million.
Here's Griezmann. Elistondo back to the Frenchman. Antoine Griezmann to Seferovic. And again, they're trying to slickly break a way through Villarreal. Giovanni Dos Santos. It's a lucky ricochet. A chance to build again. There's Aquino. Aquino drags his shot, cleared away by Inigo Martinez. Castro back on offensive duty. Squanders possession. Pina. Good work there from Costa. See, he adds that defensive rigidity playing on the left-hand side. Chance again. Pereira's pointed to where he wants the ball. It's crossed deep and away by Jose Angel. Aquino wasn't on the same wavelength. Pina finds Pereira. And once again, Nico Gonzalez is proving to be a formidable barrier.
But it's always going to be difficult when you get out wide. And if Aquino's crossing the ball, what I'm looking at is Dos Santos and Pereira and Jean Costa. All three of those are 5'10" and under. And it has to be the perfect cross coming in, Dominic. So I'd be looking for either Bruno Soriano or Thomas Pina. Both of those are 6 foot plus. And they have to go and put themselves into the area to go and attack it, because there's no good putting those aerial balls in all the time. Because you've got the likes of Mikel Gonzalez, Inigo Martinez. They're both 6 foot plus. And it's always going to be very difficult to win a headed ball against it. That's why they haven't scored in the Copa del Rey by a header at this moment in time. I know they've only scored for 3 times, but it has to be the perfect ball, or it has to be a ball along the front, in front of them to go and attack. Somebody has to get in front of the first man, but I would like to see one of the midfielders, Soriano or Thomas Pina, making strides to get into that 18-yard box.
They're capable of creating that movement. They scored in the last 9 games, won the last 2 away, including 5 against Rayo at the weekend. So when they click, it does work for Marcelino's team.
Well, it certainly does, and you say about their away, it's actually throughout the last 4 that they have won. The only game that they lost was against Barcelona, and that was by the odd goal, 2-1. They are a very good side. We saw them very early on in the season against Almeria, and both sides were basically looking to find their feet, but they've come on leaps and bounds under Marcelino this year.
There's Griezmann. Castro very close to him. It's back with Antoine Griezmann. Gabriel Paulista with a clearance. a sense of expectancy when he gets on the ball.
Well, the beauty of Antoine Griezmann is that even though predominantly left side, he's got a wicked right foot shot.
Here's Elizondo. Castro, ambitious back heel. Made away by Jokic. Pereira hustling unfairly.
But you see, you've got Chori Castro, who's got a great opportunity to cross that ball. There are three blue and white shirts in there. Agareche, Seferovic. There's certainly two of them. I think it might have been Antoine Griezmann the third. And when you've got three players of that capability and ability, you've got to put the ball in. Sometimes players try to be too smart, too cute, and yes, they like to try and build up the play. But if you've got an opportunity and you see one of your strikers isolated against a centre-half or a full-back, give them an opportunity to attack the ball.
Zaldua knocked it away at the expense of a throw. Griezmann's dropped to this near side. Swapping back with Chori Castro. A different proposition for Alexander Pantic. He's closed down by Griezmann. Lack of finesse about the build-up play. Just then from Villarreal. Jose Angel. Second proper appearance this term. Zaldua. Chori Castro in through to Markel Bergara. Villarreal just keeping a shape. Elizondo with the interception. Chori Castro finds Seferovic. Swiss-born striker. Griezmann who slides in. Jose Angel. Too much curve and bend on that. Acknowledged by 21-year-old Seferovic. A throw to be taken by Jokic. Sense of unease. Frustration just developing at the Anoeta. Pina read that perfectly. Gonzalez. Griezmann. He's giving it away. Aquino. It's a lovely pass. Finds Jonathan Pereira. Jonathan Pereira for Villarreal. First chance of the game and blocked well by Zubi Karai.
That's a very good stop, isn't it, from Zubi Karai? But I think Inigo Martinez has got to go and thank his goalkeeper for that. Why on earth he's decided to come out onto his left-hand side to pick up, I'm not sure who it was, it might have been Aquino. Just totally left Jonathan Pereira all by himself.
Here's Chori Castro, Griezmann in space on the edge of the area. He screamed for it, it's back with Elizondo. Chori Castro. Here's Seferovic. Away past Bruno Soriano. Just stood strong. It's Gabriel Paulista. Can't get out of the moment, Villarreal. Pereira does well, finds Giovanni Dos Santos. Aquino making the run on the near side. Goes back through to Pina. Here's the Mexican Aquino. Can he deliver a decent cross now? Gets some space on his left foot, curls it to the back post. Well, that's straight behind for a goal kick.
Well, on your first thoughts, you'd be saying that's a cross, but he's actually had an attempt to shoot him. But look at Inigo Martinez there. He's coming out towards the right back, completely leaves Jonathan Pereira up against Mikel Gonzalez. Why he has to go and do that, I'm not quite so sure, but you have to give a lot of credit to the Real Sociedad keeper, Zubi Karai, standing up nice and tall. Yes, it comes off his shoulder, but I look at the position of the centre-half, Inigo Martinez. Why he has to go wide, I'm not sure.
threaded by Aquino, cut out by Zaldua. Griezmann trying to just drift on the shoulder of Pantic. Aquino all isolated. Some defending to do here for Jose Angel. Went through to Zubi Karai. Which is available, but Griezmann just caught dawdling a little bit there by Aquino. This is better from Villarreal, a shot from Costa straight at Gonzalez. The sense that Marcelino's men are getting control of this game at the moment. Sees that Pereira chance, with a chance on the turn now, and just fielded to safety. Pereira was looking to pounce. I think Zubi Karai got a touch to that.
Well, I think he did, but what a great ball again from Bruno Soriano. You can see that the ball actually splits to two centre-halves. Has a quick look up, two centre-halves, can't get anywhere near Jonathan Pereira. But it's an excellent save to his right-hand side of Zubi Karai. Once again, the goalkeeper comes to the Real Sociedad rescue.
Giovanni Dos Santos with a Villarreal corner. Spoons it up, looking for Gabriel Paulista. Both teams appealing for a hand, and Aquino just wide.
Look, what a strike that is from Aquino, isn't it? There were a few arms going up inside of that 18-yard box. Speculation for a handball. Here we see. That would be a very difficult one to give against Markel Bergara. Actually gets ahead, and then it just clips his arm, gets cleared out towards Aquino, hits it on the volley. Very unfortunate for the Mexican, and that time Zubi Karai would have been beaten.
Seferovic linking well with Churi Castro. Agareche and Griezmann are waiting. And the ball's just curved out behind for a goal kick. He's starting to get involved now, Seferovic, increasingly.
It's always difficult as well, Dominic, when Seferovic has played here at Real Sociedad. It's always been a case that he's been the lonesome striker. But this time he has the able support of Agareche, who is playing a little bit more forward and playing in that midfield hole where Xavi Prieto normally plays. And sometimes it can be a little bit more disconcerting that you've got somebody else to work with when just thinking about yourself at times. But I do feel that he's got to try and get that ball down and bring in the midfield players, get that better movement, play off the shoulders a little bit more. Not really seen him go in behind the centre-halves, but when you look at Villarreal, at times they do drop off quite quickly to deny the space in behind.
Pereira can't find a way forward. It's going well to pick out Jean Costa. Bruno Soriano, hustled by Seferovic, who's dropped back and demanded and won the ball. Agareche for Villarreal. Well, for a player who's in blinding form, that won't be on his end of season highlights.
Well, it won't be, but that's so much better from Seferovic. Up against 2 or 3 yellow shirts, wins that ball to start off with. He's up against Gabriel and Thomas Pina, then offloads the ball to Anton Griezmann. Agareche does really well because he tries to take the centre-half Musacchio away from the middle of the area, but as you're right to say, Anton Griezmann, you'd be expecting him to hit the target at least.
Just a hint there that Seferovic hurt his ankle. He was trying to get away from Pina and Gabriel Paulista. Push on Agareche from Musacchio. And Mayenko just stopping the play. Whether the advantage might have worked then. The game developed. It's Jose Angel, just love to get forward, wriggles into space, once and twice, drives in a deep cross over the head of Seferovic. The Brazilian Gabriel is not happy.
Well, it's good to see that Jose Angel is getting himself down this flank, one-on-one against Aquino, but he doesn't have the opportunity to try and hit that with the instep. Hits it with the outside of his left foot. He's looking towards Agareche at the far post. Just eludes him at the very final moment. Certainly well shackled by Gabriel. But that's what I'm expecting more out of the fullbacks, not just on Real Sociedad side, but also with Villarreal. There's been a reluctance, I don't know what you think, Dominic, from both fullbacks of not getting themselves into those advanced positions, not being nice and high, not being high and wide, and just giving midfielders a different option.
Moy Gomez would offer Villarreal an option from the bench. Arasat experiencing life in hot seats in the Copa del Rey for the first time in his inaugural season as a La Liga boss. He's done very well. Clumsy challenge. And now it's more than a year since Adriano Mayenko last went through a game without booking a player. The yellow card shown to Bojan Jokic.
Well, it was the right decision from Adriano Mayenko. Just saw there was a slightly innocuous foul from Jokic. Just wasn't going to allow Churi Castro, who was getting away from him, to gain any further ground, especially in that central area. A little bit too far out to have a shot, but I wouldn't be overly surprised the way that Antoine Griezmann is lining up. He'll fancy his chances. That's all of 35 to 40 yards out.
Elostondo's got a shot on him as well. Great to be in this war. Antoine Griezmann drives it in, it hits Vantage. Smuggled clear. Chance for Real Sociedad with Jose Angel away from Pina. Can he pick out a teammate? Only one behind. Castro. It's away from Aquino. The ball was straight into the arms of Juan Carlos. There's Pina. Aquino. Seen flashes from him. Runs into a cul-de-sac. He looks frustrated with himself, and well, he might.
Yeah, but what I like about him that he uses his initiative. Yes, okay, the final touch was not the greatest touches, but he's still willing to have a go at Jose Angel. Inigo Martinez had come over to cover as well. It's just that confidence factor and belief that he could go and beat those players.
Here's Seferovic. All the way by Gabriel Paulista. Jose Angel. Estonia. Real. Miguel Gonzalez, that's very risky. Bobbles through 2.5 challenges. Sam Costa is unfairly blocked by Zalduar.
I think Miguel Gonzalez is very fortunate there. Just to try and be a little bit too cute. 5 yards from your own halfway line, then eventually you're asking your right back to commit a foul. But that's the time you don't mess about in those areas, especially when you've only got one player in behind you.
Giovanni Dos Santos. He looks at the referee, Senor Mayenko, for a free kick, but there was nothing coming. Bruno Soriano levers it through to Zubi Kanai.
Well, I don't know about you, Dominic, as we were approaching the half-time whistle, that, yes, the application from both sides has been very good. The intensity has not been too bad. The quality has got to be a lot better. I think the passing and movement has got to be better. Certainly from the Real Sociedad side, we've seen good glimpses of that from Villarreal. But we have to say that both defences have marshalled their goalkeepers very well, especially Villarreal. Juan Carlos has had nothing to do so far in the opening half. Zubikirai's made a couple of decent saves. But overall, I would say that both managers will be disappointed with their side's performances.
And it is the end of the first 45 minutes. It's been a 45 minutes in which Churi Castro has had the best opportunity for La Real. Zubikirai was at his best to deny Pereira. Aquino has blazed wise, but it's been a first 45 minutes which has had more graft than craft. At the break, it's goalless.
Well, we were hoping for a game full of free-flowing football, but at the moment, at least, it's not quite turning out that way. Attritional, I think, is the word we're looking for. Two sides couldn't quite find a goal, but we've managed to find Ozzy. He and Quinton will talk you through a pretty uneventful first 45 minutes. It's 0-0 at half-time.
They finish in the right, they have been producing in the left. However, they have to play a lot quicker. They are moving the ball far too slow. They are allowing Villarreal to organize 10, 11 players behind the ball, and after that they do what they do best. And that means playing in the counter-attack. So they have to do things a lot quicker now.
They also got to lose some of the fear of losing this game in order to win it.
You expect that from a home team. You expect the team has won the last 5 games in a row. Play with a bit more confidence. Momentum is their side, but you have to give credit to Villarreal. They come here today and they've had a better chances. But you expect, a bit more, better quality. He hasn't had much service. There's been good balls into the box, but
I think the second half is going to be a lot better, because Real Sociedad, they are playing at home. They need to win, so they are going to try to attack a lot more, and that will give Villarreal much better chances for the counter-attack. So I expect a few goals now in the second half.
Are there any changes they could make here? Vela's on the bench?
Well, they can do changes, yes, they can. But I think there were a lot of changes before the game. Both teams have done a lot of changes. So I think they use the cup to prove new players and so on. So they have to give a little bit more of chance to the players that they are playing right now.
It's a good point, actually. Both sides have made a lot of changes. I think 6 for the home side, 8 for Villarreal. Is that contributing a bit to the scrappy nature of this game?
well, the players that normally get to play, it's difficult when you haven't played for a while and coming in at this tempo. But so far, I think Real have to be happy of the two teams. But if needed for Real, they got Uche and Jeremy Papet on the bench if needed. But so far so good.
Okay, let's see if things change this half then. Over to David Phillips and Dominic Johnson.
Thank you very much. Victory for Real Sociedad. It'll be the first time in a decade that they've won 5 consecutive games. Adriano Mayenko is this evening's referee. He gets us off and underway. What will the two coaches have said to their players? This is the first of a trilogy of encounters in just over a week, don't forget, between these teams in League and Cup. It is a chess game. Opportunity now for Seferovic, who just ran into Gabriel Paulista. Seferovic feeds it through to Churi Castro, who chokes the shot. Unable to find the target inside the first 40 seconds of the second half.
Well, certainly that is a lot better in respect of Real Sociedad. I think Gabriel will not be too happy with the challenge that he made on Churi Castro, which allowed him to have that shot. As you're right, was just a little bit short on the attempt. Should be possibly looking to hit the far post. But again, just a little bit lacking in composure.
Juan Carlos with the restart. Jean Costa, a lot of responsibility on his shoulders to get some width into the play. On the other side, Aquino sees his cross cleared away. Errant pass from Agareche. You see the Villarreal bench, which has goals. Uche available from a hat-trick the weekend. Carlos Vela, a familiar face.
Well, the two main protagonists for Villarreal were warming up there, Uche and Pebet. Certainly a lot of goals in between those two. 5 goals that they scored between themselves against Rayo. Uche with a hat-trick and Pebet with 2.
Griezmann finds Jose Angel. Gonzalez just struggling a moment ago. Clearance. Elizondo. Bruno Soriano. Had guile, as we saw in the first half, to the midfield. Giovanni Dos Santos is acting as creator. There's a lack of height among the Villarreal players up front. Jory Castro. He's won the free kick. Painful moment. All concerned.
Certainly coming together there between Jam Costa and Jory Castro.
Here's Seferovic against Gabriel Paulista. Two heavyweights slugging it out. Seferovic trying to get the angle to take the shot. But actually was very slow to get back on side there.
Well, I think he was looking for an earlier ball from Seferovic, but give credit where credit's due to Villarreal. Held a very neat line across the 18-yard box. There was actually 5 yellow shirts across there, and that's why Agareccio was offside, because they kept on coming closer and closer to the ball, just pressing just slightly. But they're working very hard, Villarreal.
Bruno Soriano could be the second player to be booked.
Again, it's a little bit of a lunge, isn't it, on Jory Castro? Seen time and time again players booked for those sort of challenges. It'd be interesting to see if Senor Mayenko gives him a yellow card. Not sure if he has or not.
Hopefully Jory Castro will be okay. He hasn't sparkled yet, but he is a player who is more than capable. Pereira was about 2 yards away from that free kick when it was taken. There's Zaldua, 21-year-old. Bruno Soriano. Aquino. Hustle and try and force an error out of Jose Angel, and his perseverance was worth it. Aquino. There's Pina. Took a little deflection. Pereira funnels in out through to Jam Costa, who drives across in, and it's just swiveled wide just outside the penalty spot, and Pina unable to find a finish or the target.
Well, once again, decent movement, great ball into Thomas Pina, and all he has to do is just guide that ball in towards the goal area. Jam Costa does really well down this left-hand side. But once again, you look at Thomas Pina, doesn't get amongst the goals very often. This is here an offside. It must have been very tight for Jory Castro. But I think Thomas Pina on the clip on the other side, he would have been very disappointed not to have hit the target. Yes, he was closed down very, very quickly. And it was a chance that he had to take without a lot of thought process.
They have become away day specialists, Villarreal. Only the top 3 have picked up more away wins this term than the Yellow Submarine. They picked up more points on their travels this term than they have at home. Here's Seferovic, deflected. Smothered by Juan Carlos. He was a key player in the promotion last season. Hasn't really got a game this term in the league.
He did very well last year, didn't he? Came second in the Zamora. Manu Herrera for Elche was the winner of that trophy. Not only happens in La Liga, Well, Thibaut Courtois was the recipient of that award.
Here's Pereira, good bustle forward away from Mikel Gonzalez, and ball just bobbled awkwardly for him. He's got a throw though. Zaldu out with the clearance. This is potentially promising. It's good shielding and defending. Jokic getting forward. They're not past his opposite full-back.
Well, I think defensively Zaldu has done particularly well. We know that he's only had the one La Liga start in his career against Celta Vigo. But I look at him offensively, and the difference between himself and Carlos Martinez, who is the #1 right back for Real Sociedad, and he will, time and time again, get into those elevated positions to create that overlap.
Here's Jean Costa. Bruno Soriano made the late arriving run. He's kept a little bit of momentum in it. It's fizzled out. Griezmann. It's given away. Jokic looking for Pereira. Jean Costa eventually wins the free kick. Taken a tad early for the liking of the referee.
It just appears to me at this moment in time, Dominic, that Villarreal just seem to be half a yard sharper than Real Sociedad. Certainly in possession of the ball. Certainly when they're trying to regain the ball, they get it back very, very sharpish. Just seems to have a better desire for the start of this second half.
Giovanni Dos Santos has taken the responsibility for the free kick. Two-man wall. Pina drifts onside. Giovanni Dos Santos swerves it in. In the end, it's Gabriel Paulista who drives it in. That hit a hand, did it? No, says the referee and the assistant, who had a clear view of Jose Angel. Well, Pereira can't believe that a penalty has not been awarded.
Well, I'd like to see that one again. Gabriel tries to put that ball in. It's hit the left arm of Jose Angel. The assistant on the far side has got a fantastic view of that situation. Should have been a penalty to Villarreal.
Well, it was an unencumbered view. He was looking straight at it. Seferovic falls theatrically. Agareche wins the free kick. Roy halted, I think, for a combination of those two challenges. Seferovic is still down. He fell very dramatically, tumbled.
Well, it's like as if he got sandwiched between two of the Villarreal defenders. But is this going to be a case of an injustice if Real Sociedad score? There we see the ball from Gabriel hits Jose Angel plumb on the arm. It's not as if Jose Angel is trying to get that ball, his arm away from his body, and the assistant does nothing about it.
The sense of injustice will burn even brighter for Villarreal if Real Sociedad score from this. Right, Carlos has positioned his wall. Troy Castro is poised. Three waits. It's Troy Castro who tips it up. It doesn't come down in time.
Well, it's a bit of a waste in the end. Got to be looking to try and hit the target, and once again you saw that Elizondo was in and around the ball. The first one was taken by Griezmann, the second one by Troy Castro. Surely Elizondo must fancy his chances with the next one. Doesn't score many goals, Elizondo, but as you're right to say, he has a fearsome shot. Sometimes you're trying to be a little bit too cute, but sometimes I'd like to say just put your foot right through the ball.
Elizondo doesn't score many. You've got to go back over 3 years for his last goal in this competition. Again, a 3-2 defeat against Almeria. 2010. He's to defend now. Aquino. There's Bruno Soriano. Got an intelligent pass. Doesn't quite come out, but he's prepared to try it. Pina finds Aquino. It's too high for Pereira. Ronaldo has conceded a corner. The second half starting much more brightly than we saw in the opening 45 minutes as the first shuffle from the bench is about to be made. Xavi Prieto's poised. Giovanni Dos Santos with a corner. Dos Santos swirls it in, away by Mikel Gonzalez. Only back to the Brazilian. And they get a chance now for a driven shot and just wide. A let off for Azubi Karai. It wasn't cleared and thundered wide.
Well, certainly wasn't. It was a great strike, I think. Was that from Gabriel? Right on the corner. Again, should really be hitting the target. We've been talking about Xavi Prieto and the creative player that he is. He's the one who comes onto the field to play. Imanol Agareche takes a leave of his duties for this evening. And now it will be a case that the shape will be a 4-2-3-1. And for Real Sociedad, I'm sure they'll be looking to Xavi Prieto to pull those strings in the heart of the midfield, as he has done for a lot of his career.
His 12th season in San Sebastian. Feel the enthusiasm is increasing from the stands. It's been smouldering, and now we're starting to see flickers of flames. Here's Pina. Soriano. It's probably the first pass that he's misplaced in 59 minutes. Zaldua will get Villarreal up and running again. Gomez coming on for Villarreal imminently. Jean Costeru makes way. Response from Marcelino tactically.
Well, the other one could be Jokic as well, who's under a yellow card, and Jean Costa could possibly go back to left back. There's certainly an option there for Marcelino if he wants it. But isn't it amazing though, Dominic, how all the time coaches seem to make their first substitutions in and around that hour mark.
Must be in their contracts somewhere, or a manager's manual. Inigo Martinez brought out positionally in the first half for that chance for Pereira. Trying to work a way forward. No way through on the left-hand side for Jose Angel. And switch the axis. Troy Castro. There's Mikel Vergara. Seferovic. Just smuggle it back through to the Uruguayan. Aquino. And the flag wasn't raised. It probably should have been. That's a teasing ball for Griezmann. He's onside. Good save. Antoine Griezmann has been in prolific form, but that is a big miss. And how big will that be?
Well, that's why you have the inclusion of Xavi Prieto in your side. He can unlock all the defences. But I think if you ask Antoine Griezmann to be honest, he was most probably looking around as if he was in an offside position.
Here's Pereira, cuts it back through, looking for Giovanni Dos Santos. But Inigo Martinez read the pass perfectly.
I bet he can't believe he's missed that. Great opportunity. Sometimes you have far too much time to make a decision. But hand on heart, I bet he thought that he was in an offside position to start with.
Jam Costa, deflected cross, collected by Zubi Karai. It's warming up. Seferovic has made his run. Xavi Prieto travels such a long distance then with the ball. Here's Jose Angel. Griezmann. To throw it back through to Xavi Prieto, and the Frenchman's handled the ball. And the substitution can take place now. Gomez, 19-year-old, is coming on, and it's Aquino who makes way. I love that one shot that just blazed wide in the first half. A fair few cul-de-sacs in his runs.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised that Aquino has been pulled off. As you're right to say, you thought possibly it might be Jam Costa. I might have thought it was Jokic, just purely because he's on a yellow card. Jam Costa does play at left back, but certainly with Moises Gomez, young lad, 19 years of age, still yet to make a start in La Liga. Scored quite a few goals in the Segunda last year, though.
So they're well read by Zaldua. Dos Santos going to peel away. Here's Griezmann. That miss will still be on his mind, surely. Since that miss, he's conceded a free kick and given the ball away cheaply. Looks glum. Here's Seferovic off the chest. Can't get his shot away. Good covering from Musacchio. It's a lazy piece of play, not keeping the ball in.
Well, you think the strength of Seferovic would certainly outwit Matteo Musacchio, but it would have done a few years ago when I first saw him, but he's come on leaps and bounds. He's got a lot stronger.
Bruno picks himself up. Painful blow for the skipper of Villarreal. Throw will be taken. It wasn't kept in by Pantic. The game's getting a little bit niggly. Dangerous run now from Zaldua. Too dangerous for his liking. There's a chance to scurry through, but can't find a way past Jam Costa. There's Pereira. Dos Santos needs bodies to aim for. Arriving late was Jam Costa. It lacked panache, lacked conviction, and that's easy for the hosts. No goals in this game. We're coming up after this match. Real Madrid against Osasuna for you, and the big hitters Bale and Ronaldo both start. Join us at 8:30 on Sky Sports 2, and a mouth-watering game on Saturday. The top two, Atletico against Barcelona. Sky Sports 4 at 6:55. That is going to be one of the games of the season. I cannot wait to watch it. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, both sides looking to make a substitution here. There's Carlos Vela and Isaac Trigueros also coming on.
So Trigueros is entering the field of play. Jam Costa doesn't complete the match. Carlos Vela will add an obvious goal threat. Former Arsenal man replaces Churi Castro. You know that Vela is capable of the spectacular.
Well, certainly with the substitution from Real Sociedad, the intent there is to get an aggregate lead in this opening game against Villarreal, with the inclusion of Carlos Vela.
Mr. Queiroz. Arriving late was Bruno Soriano, but standing strong is Inigo Martinez. It was a late challenge from Jonathan Pereira. Quite lucky to avoid a card the colour of his shirt there.
I think the referee this evening, Senor Mayenko, has been very lenient, Dominic. Was it only is it the one yellow card so far to Jokic, the left back for Villarreal?
At the moment it's the fewest amount of cards he's dispensed in a game for over a year. 22 yellows in his last 4. And that's a yellow, he's not too fond of a red. Joel Piqué, the only player he sent off in a club game in the last year. Actually, the game against Real Sociedad, if I remember correctly. Villarreal won. See how these substitutions invigorate the final quarter of the match. And a groan around the ground from Seferovic's pass, which was aimed for Griezmann. Nicely kept in play by Dos Santos. Carlos was appealing for it. Gone back through to the midfield, and Pina and Bruno Soriano. And here's Pina. Look at the space that Carlos has. Ferreira. There's Jonathan Pereira, very tight angle. Good tracking from Zaldua. The cue has been given. Corner swung in, and Zubi Karai collects it comfortably and confidently ahead of Musacchio. Is there a counter-attack on here? Carlos Vela makes the run down the middle. Seferovic, though, shanks it horribly.
Well, you can see there with the body language that he's very disappointed. He's trying to shake himself up, trying to regain that little bit of confidence.
Pereira, we go it alone, very tight angle, cuts it back for Giovanni Dos Santos, and away and behind by Marc Albergara. The lack of height restricts them so much, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does, but you can also say that about the likes of Barcelona, because when you look at their front six there, I think the tallest is about 5'9", 5'10", maximum, unless you've got Busquets in there who's 6'2". And that's why they have to play the way they do, unless you're going to get the likes of Thomas Pina or Bruno Soriano in there to make those long runs from midfield.
Out swinging corner, and again it's Zubi Karai who has to come and decisively clear. Oh, Gomez just hustling. Streetwise play there since Villarreal regained possession. Here's Pereira, it's becoming increasingly influential. Dos Santos drives it across the face of the goal, and up and behind by Jose Angel. Well, he was lucky to survive a penalty scare, and he's lucky to put that over his bar.
Well, it certainly is. Once again, it's a decent ball from Giovanni Dos Santos, right in between the goalkeeper and the back four unit. But if he had better awareness, Dominic, and had a quick look around him as he was going back towards the ball, he could have left it. Wouldn't have to take that chance.
Another out swinging header this time finds its way through to Dos Santos, who's got Seferovic-itis and shanks that one.
Well, that is like one of my golf shots, Dominic. nowhere near the green, nowhere near the fairway, out of bounds once again, but he'll be disappointed with that. That's the time what you do is just lift that ball towards the back post. Don't hit it with the outside of your foot. Just use the instep and just dink that ball towards the far post. But you look at Seferovic, he looks like a striker who's lacking in confidence big time, isn't he? But then you look at Agareche, nowhere near the same as what he was last year. I think 14 goals he scored last year, only scored a couple this. And certainly that is the department where they're lacking as the out-and-out striker. Yes, Carlos Vela scoring goals, Griezmann scoring goals, but it's the two main strikers who need to get on the score sheet a little bit more.
Here's Moy Gomez deflected. And Dos Santos was just hoping to get a toe onto it. Carlos Vela picks up the baton for Villarreal. Just over a quarter of an hour to go. Bruno Soriano and Pina. Villarreal bossing this, but unable to find a way beyond Zubi Karai. Here's Traqueros against Aldoa. And then full-back got his body in front. As you rightly said, he has a tough task to make the right-back berth his own, but he's been quite impressive so far tonight.
Well, he certainly has. Like I said to you before, I think defensively he's done very well. But as we know now with the modern day footballer, and especially in the full-back situation, they have to be one of your better players. Back in my old days, I used to call it the T-trolley run. We used to be going up and back all the time. And that's what you have to do. You've got to be able to create those overlapping situations. And because a lot of teams now, they adopt this situation where they have two holding midfielders, it enables full-backs to get into those positions, Dominic, because what will happen is those two holding midfielders are just going to screen into the areas that have been vacated by the full-backs. But I think all four full-backs tonight have been very reluctant to press forward.
Well, Ruben Pardo is coming on, and Elizondo is the player making way. That's some style to the midfield with Xavi Prieto involved as well. It's Gabriel Paulista who is needing treatment after an incident involving Prieto. Prieto went down, but it looks like the 20-year-old Brazilian has come off second best. Hopefully from this angle.
But I think he's just landed awkwardly. If you look at the right leg, you can see there he's just landed awkwardly. He's just clutching his knee. Fortunately, he's able to get up and walk off the field of play. But we just have to be a little bit cute with it for the next 3 or 4 minutes. But whilst he's off, there's a slight overload situation here for Real Sociedad.
Free kick spun into the area. Away by Masacchio. Villarreal missing a centre-half. He's been waved back on there. The Brazilian who's started 7 of the last 10. As he gets acclimatised to the rigours of top-flight football in Spain. You see Pepe is waiting to come on for Marcelino's men. Zaldua. Xavi Prieto finds Vela. The big hitters are on now for Real. And that was hit too big by Vela, behind for a goal kick. The Mexican frustrated. Here is Jonathan Pepe. He'll replace Giovanni Dos Santos. And Pepe comes into the game. He's got a better scoring ratio than Lionel Messi this season. He scored every 88 minutes, which is better than Lionel Messi, who, well, he's not much cop really, only scores once every 96 minutes. It's just a testimony to Perbet has got 4 in his last 3. How well he's done. And he's doing. Can he influence this match though? Chaqueros with the cross. Kept out by Mikel Gonzalez. Yes, it was. Throwing.
Well, certainly that Quinton Fortune knows him from his days in Belgium, and certainly when he was in Belgium, scored an abundance of goals when he was at Mons. And you talk about records, of 88 games he played, 56 goals. So that's a huge return, isn't it? But he came on loan last year and scored 11 goals in the 18 appearances that he made. Doing very well.
It's one of the key signings of Marcelino, who celebrates a year at the helm this week. Guided Villarreal to promotion back to La Liga at the first attempt. It was 13 wins out of the 18 games that he had in Segunda. And he's really got this team acclimatised to the top flight so well. The sort of confidence that they play with. Gonzalez with the interception and the throw in for Villarreal.
Well, the philosophy of the football is as we used to know when we used to go and watch Villarreal from, what, 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's about getting hold of the ball, the sharp, incisive, small movement and passing. And that's what they're all about. They've never ever been the biggest of sides, especially up front as well. You take the times when Giuseppe Rossi was there and Diego Forlan, never the greatest of strikers in respect of height, but very prolific, and in Perbet and Dos Santos, Uche, they've got 3 very good strikers.
Well, they've bossed this second half. But it hasn't reflected in the score sheet. Perbet announces his arrival. It's wet, didn't realise it was that cold.
I'm not even going to get into that topic of conversation about people wearing gloves and short sleeve shirts as well. So I'll keep away from that one, Dominic.
Here's Xavi Prieto to Carlos Vela. Prieto gets it back, right-footed, swirled in, and arriving is Griezmann. It stood strong. There's Pantic. It's over.
Well, that's better from Real Sociedad. Good combination play down this right-hand side, and really Xavi Prieto's only got the one person to hit, which is Antoine Griezmann, making great strides towards the 6-yard box. He's got the run on Pantic, but Pantic does really well, big and strong, and doesn't allow Griezmann an easy header.
Again, comfortably and confidently played by the Yellow Submarine. A teasing run. Can he make it into a cross as a challenge came in on Moy Gomez, but it was a fair one. The teenager looks at Senor Mayenko.
Well, it's good defending from Jose Angel, gets his body in between the youngster Moises Gomez and the football, and is able to shepherd that ball out in the end. But like the confidence of Gomez to take on the vastly experienced Jose Angel, who's on loan from Roma, standing in for Ivan De La Vea at this moment in time. Still picked up an injury. He's been out for quite a few games now, De La Vea, but got a great opportunity to make this position his own.
Villarreal are going to have a road trip after this game. We're going to go down to the coast for the league game of the weekend against Villarreal. Stay for the return fixture next week, and then have a little saunter over to the capital where they play Getafe. 3 away games, and they're using it as a team bonding exercise. Here's Jose Angel, teasing cross, and Carlos Vela cleared away, only partially. Griezmann can't get his shot in, and the referee's awarded the free kick.
Well, he's awarded the free kick because Antoine Griezmann has just lent into Gabriel as he was trying to get that ball away, but good opportunity down this left bank from Jose Angel, plays it in. I thought at one stage it was going to be Xavi Prieto in the middle of the goal to try and win that header, but it evades everyone, comes into the path of Carlos Vela. Tried to hit it with the outside of his left foot. And I think it was Jokic towards the goal line who's able to clear it up in the air. And Antoine Griezmann fouled the Brazilian Gabriel. So good movement once again from Real Sociedad down the flanks. Carlos Vela, very, very unfortunate, but good defensive work in the end from Villarreal.
It was the other knee that was causing the problem for Gabriel Paulista a couple of moments ago, and he went off. It was that bad, and the keeper came to squeeze the muscle. There might have been a bit of a reaction.
You just don't know whether this 20-year-old is vastly experienced and trying to take a little bit of heat out of the situation. This is the incident before with his right leg. You don't know whether this part here was a little bit of cramp, but I think it's just because he lands on his left leg and his heel goes straight into the ground to start off with. We can turn around and say, well, good decision from Gabriel. What it does, it just, I know it's going to add a little bit of time, but it just stops that little bit of momentum that Real Sociedad have created.
The play is broken up, and Liana Nanko wants the ball back in action as quickly as possible. Marcelino is adjusting with the Brazilian off the field at the moment.
Well, the thing is, they've got to hope that he does come back on the field, because they've used 3 substitutes already. So it's going to be vitally important that he gets himself back. But if not, Villarreal are down to 10 men.
Bruno Soriano's dropped in as cover. Zaldua. Away by Jokic. Griezmann brings it under control superbly. Antoine Griezmann with a bobble up.
Well, I think that's going to be a corner for Real Sociedad. I'm not quite sure who got the final touch. Certainly not in an offside position. You see that Bruno Soriano is just now adopted into the centre-half position. Whether or not that's just crept off Pantic.
Corner swung in near post and across the face of the goal by the late arriving Marc Albergara.
But the question I'm going to ask now then, Dominic, Real Sociedad have a corner. Why is the referee allowing the centre-half to get himself back onto the field of play? Especially when that ball is going to be coming in as a corner from a set piece. Invariably, they'll take the set piece, allow the ball to be cleared, and then bring the player on, as long as that ball's not in the proximity of the player.
It's all to do with phases of play, I think, and there had been quite a big gap in which the Brazilian went off. Those rules that infuriates and befuddles. Pina. Moy Gomez hasn't got into the game yet, the 19-year-old. Gives it away to Jose Angel, gets a better second chance at it. Pina's experience is a welcome relief for the teenager, as Villarreal took a risky touchdown with Gabriel Paulista. Zaldua with a header. It's collected by Zubi Karai. Towards his second clean sheet in 3 appearances this season. Risky and sloppy from Villarreal. It's 3 against 3 here. Here's Pereira. Ball driven across and just smuggled away. Lack of concentration defensively from the hosts. Ruben Pardo finds Antoine Griezmann. Seferovic in the middle. So too is Velas just in front of Seferovic. Comes up from the Swiss-born striker.
Well, once again, good combination play down that left-hand side. This in time involving Ruben Pardo and Antoine Griezmann. What you saw there was Seferovic. He was saying to Musako, I'm going to go short, I'm going to go to the back, and eventually when he makes his decision, the ball's already evaded him. Certainly with Carlos Vela, who's making strides towards the middle of the goal. But that's what Real Sociedad are doing, are very good at doing. Hitting them on the counter-attack, getting the ball wide, and then getting bodies into that 18-yard box. But unfortunately tonight, they've not done it enough times. The goalkeeper there, Juan Carlos, has not really had an awful amount of work to do.
Fairbeck unable to collect it. Coming back is Ruben Pardo. Nicely played. Jose Angel back through to Inigo Martinez, who finds his keeper. It's a throw for Villarreal. Turn leg is next week. Just approaching the halfway point in terms of the Copa del Rey matches between these teams. Villarreal will be delighted to travel south with a clean sheet. Just edge the possession.
Well, I'm not overly surprised with that, Dominic. I think certainly throughout the midfield area they've been better. They've moved the ball sharper. But you're right to say it's perfectly poised for the second leg. As with the opponents that they'll meet, either Almeria or Racing, who drew 1-1. Of course, Racing now are in the third tier of Spanish football, back-to-back relegations.
Astonishing.
Unbelievable. But sometimes that happens in Spanish football. It happened with Tenerife as well. But they now apparently have got some money to spend and doing particularly well in their respective league. And unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes.
There's Carlos Vela. Scurrying crossfield. Chance now. Seferovic driving into the middle, but it was overhit. Just thumped into the area by Jose Angel. Sense of unease for Alasat. Herbert. Muy Gomez. There's Herbert. Pressure from Griezmann. Chagueros. Gomez again. Just lack quality in the pass, but there's a throw. And Sociedad unable to get out and launch a counter-attack. So the submarine, well, they could have launched a counter-attack. They could have launched another attack. Now they have to switch their attention defensively. 4 minutes have been added by Senor Mayenko. Gomez. Seferovic is down injured at the moment. Herrera will sprint in vain. Inigo Martinez. Here's Thomas Pina. Jaqueros with a nice layoff to Perbet. Just slightly overruns it. And allowed Inigo Martinez to slide in with a challenge. I sense this game is brewing up for a grandstand finale. Jokic conceding a free kick. How costly will that prove to be? Villarreal get bodies forward. Cross into the area, and it's collected right on the line by Juan Carlos. Seferovic thwarted again.
Well, it's a decent ball, isn't it, from that left-hand side, and there's Juan Carlos right underneath his crossbar. Under pressure at the near post from Seferovic. But he's certainly a player, I think, that Arrasate needs to get an arm around and try and give him a little bit more confidence. Certainly been lacking in it.
Carlos Vela makes the yardage, but doesn't claim the free kick. Pina. Gomez elegantly switches the angle. Nice little dig forward from Pereira. Tight angle. Sliding in on Zubi Caray was Mikel Gonzalez.
Well, I think that's a great defensive tackle from Mikel Gonzalez. Nice little ball in from Tigueras into the path of Jonathan Pereira. In fact, it's actually Zubi Caray who makes himself big towards that near post, and it is the collision from Mikel Gonzalez.
Cleared away by Zubi Caray.
Considering that he's not the #1 goalkeeper for Real Sociedad, he's done very well, hasn't he, this evening? 29 years of age, and I think he's only made 8 La Liga appearances for Real Sociedad. There are a lot of decent goalkeepers in La Liga in the second string, and you just wonder why, Dominic, at such an age like that, he doesn't want first-team football all the time.
Seferovic, Xavi Prieto gets another chance to influence the game. Prieto for Griezmann. In the end, Seferovic, well, he swivels it, and it's out for a throw. Has all the attributes, doesn't he, Seferovic, for a big, strong, industrious, imposing centre-half. Sorry, striker.
No, you meant centre-half.
Yeah.
He has. He's very much like Agareche. And he's got a presence about him, but as I mentioned just moments ago, it's just lacking in confidence. He's come for decent money from Fiorentina. He's still only a young lad, Swiss international, but he's got to be better than that.
The referee, Andiano Mayenko, brings to a conclusion a really tight tactical game. There could have been a penalty for Angel's handball. Griezmann was clean through and he failed to score. Vela could only aim his shot at the goalkeeper. So it's stalemate at the end of the first of the trilogy of games between these teams. It's finished goalless.
So a stalemate at the Anoeta. Both sides certainly tried to break the deadlock in the second half, which was much better than the first, but still neither quite good enough in that final third. I head to the Al Madrigal 0-0 then, and I suppose, Ozzy, that Villarreal will be the much happier side with that.
Definitely. They look much neater, and they might be pretty happy with the result as well. In fact, they dominated the midfield, so this is why they were a better team today. Very impressed with them, very well organised, and pretty dangerous in the counter-attack.
Agree with that. Despite those 2 good chances for Griezmann and Vela in the second half, do you think Villarreal were in control?
No, still a better team. And if you look at the last chance, came from Villarreal, a team that's gone to Sociedad and played better on the day. I expect, like I said before the game, I expected more from Sociedad, especially in the form they've been in lately, but very disappointing.
0-0 though. Still a dangerous scoreline for Villarreal going into that second leg.
Oh, certainly. But they might be the favourite right now. Very disappointed with Real Sociedad. In fact, I was expecting quite a lot more. After they have been out of Europe, they have improved their form in the league dramatically. After saying that, the manager make about 6-7 changes, so maybe he's not that important a cut for them. And probably it is. I mean, they show in the way they play. They look very disconnected. They did not have a very good game.
Okay, well, no goals in our first game. Next up, we're up to the Santiago Bernabeu for Real Madrid against Osasuna. Los Blancos are putting out a pretty strong side. Lots of first-team regulars. Ronaldo and Bale both start. The first half is next.